Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Film Seizure. I'm Jason Oliver, and I'm joined, as always, by my two compatriots, Mr. Jeff Arbuckle.
Hank 10, what's up?
Yeah, what's up, bro? What's up, bro?
What's up, bro?
And my other bra, Chuck Moore. Hey, Chuck. Hey.
I'm tubular, man.
Some people call him Chuck Morzaffa.
Yeah,
I don't know which people. Some people do.
We're gonna get real spiritual.
Oh boy,
we're gonna get real spiritual.
This is a wonderful movie.
We're gonna talk about really getting in tune with yourself and with nature and with the waves, brah. Today, we're talking about 1991, not 2015.
Fuck
1991's Point fucking Break.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I'm going to throw a little shaka up on that one there. Anyway, so yeah, dude, watching this movie last night put me right back in 14-year-old summer of 91, walking to, I think it was General Cinema. It might have been Lowe's. But walking there from my apartment that I lived at with my mom's, that was, God damn, that was good. Back when, you could be 14 and go to an R-rated movie with the right note in your wallet. It's like if your mom wrote you that note. Mom may have actually gone with me. She was a big Patrick Swayze fan, but I don't know. Yeah,
I have no clue when I saw this the first time. I was young. I think I rented it. I definitely didn't see it in a theater.
I may have seen it twice in the theater, to be
and I can't honestly say I have any real nostalgia for it. But goddamn, if this movie isn't just fucking stupid, dumb, fun, full of cum, man. This movie is.
It is.
This movie is fucking stupid, but it is amazingly fun.
Yeah, I don't have recollection of when I saw this movie, but I did not recall it being as violent as it is. I was kind of like shocked by some of the scenes in this movie. Not that it's ultra violent, but
I took more notes on Point Break than I took on Treasure of Sierra Madre.
Nice.
And honestly, yeah, like take Treasure of Sierra Madre and Leaving Las Vegas combined, and I still took more notes on Point Break.
Nice.
Yeah, I will
it.
forever and ever remember the scene in which Anthony Kiedis blows his foot off. That's something you don't forget.
That was jarring, man. I forgot he was in it, so I guess it is something you forget.
I was about to say the same thing. That's something Jeff doesn't forget.
That's right. Oh, man. All right. So I'm going to start by kicking it off with the fact that this is very strangely directed by Kathryn Bigelow, who contemporary audiences would know her from films like The Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30. She got her start with a little movie called The Loveless in 1981 with Willem Dafoe, an early Willem Dafoe picture, which is really cool, kind of like 50s cool guy vibe. She tells movies from a male point of view in a lot of her films. Her next film was Near Dark, 1987, another film from a male point of view. And then this one, oh boy, oh golly, this movie is full of more testosterone than like every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
It's so full of testosterone that it gets a little gay also.
It's true. It's so full of testosterone that its one female character has to comment on how full of testosterone it is.
She was the viewer at that point.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, because I also
she's Kathryn Bigelow, like probably realizing what the hell am I making?
One real quick. Let's also not gloss over the fact that Kathryn Bigelow to this day is still the only woman to win Best Director at the
yes. That's very true.
Big fucking deal too, and that was a really good movie. It was the.
It is a good movie. Yeah, she's the only one. That's insane. That's just fucked up, honestly.
That may change this year, though. Maybe we'll see.
We'll see. There's some big contenders for sure. So she developed a script with James Cameron, who was her husband at the time. James Cameron, in a little bit of research I did, has been married like 5 or 6 times. Like,
well, he was married. The king of the world. So I mean, he
was married to Bigelow. I think before he was married to Linda Hamilton. Bigelow was his second wife, I think, and then Linda Hamilton was his third wife.
Oh, he had to be cheating on.
Oh, he definitely did lots of cheating from here and there. Yeah.
Because wasn't Terminator 2 in the theater the same time this was?
Yes.
Same summer, yep.
Yeah, they were competing.
Yeah, 10 days before this movie came out, Terminator 2 came out. And I was there for that one too. That one, whew, that was a good.
Not to derail this too much, but I had never heard of Largo Entertainment. And apparently they're the ones that produced this, and they weren't around for very long.
Yeah. I remember seeing that on a few movies Unlawful Entry. That was they released Malcolm X too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then in 2000 they were gone. So for 9 years they released quite a few movies, and
they made some pretty big pictures.
I suspect.
Oh my God, they made Time Cop.
Yeah, that movie pisses me off so much. But let's not talk about it because I'll go on for an hour.
Let's not.
Back to Point Break.
Yeah, we got
Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah, we got to catch that wave.
And it's also worth mentioning, and it makes a ton of sense that this originally started as a Tony Scott project. This does feel like the kind of movie Tony Scott would make. 100%.
It was Ridley Scott directing.
Oh, I thought it was Tony.
No, it's Ridley. It's with Matthew Broderick, Johnny Depp, and Charlie Sheen considered to play Johnny Utah, my favorite name ever. If I ever change my name, I'm changing it to Johnny.
It definitely would be more suited to Tony. But yes, it was Ridley.
But yeah, it's that's kind of interesting because it's 1986, that would have been a really good time for this movie. Although, to be honest with you, I think this movie was not only successful generally, but it and pretty successful during a really, really rough time for it to come out with Terminator 2 in theaters at the same time, as well as the Robin Hood movie with Kevin Costner. 91 was loaded. But it ended up really, kind of once it hit theaters, it really, really picked up an audience, and it's a movie that almost everybody our age has probably seen.
Yeah, and it has 2 heartthrobs in it, right? At the time.
Oh, sure. Yeah, guys could get behind the masculinity of it, and girls would watch because of the heartthrobs. Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Right.
I mean, Gary Busey is just fucking fire in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, sexy man, Gary Busey.
Yeah,
I will say,
he is back then compared to now.
If you didn't sense my sarcasm, but honestly, I think he puts in the best performance in the movie.
He is great in this movie.
I think Gary Busey is fucking awesome in this movie. He is having a blast. He's not crazy over the top, but he's over top just enough. I tell you who is the most over the top, though, is John C. McGinley. Holy hell. I feel like he took 3 lines of coke in the bathroom before every scene, and they just shoved him onto set, and he went nuts. He was insane in this movie.
Yeah, everybody is turned up a little bit.
Yeah, everybody's turned up a little bit. It's like a contest, I think. You're just trying to outdo one another. Yeah.
It's interesting, though. I mean, I know what this movie is, but the way that they portray the FBI is fucking ridiculous.
Oh,
I'm
totally.
There's no way the FBI leader in LA would act like this. There's no way the 2 other dudes that are always hating on Gary Busey would act like this. They're more jocular cops in New York, not FBI. It's weird that they used FBI, definitely. I guess, but Yeah,
Well,
that's
But
what
I think
that kind of-
if I'm going to defend the movie a little bit, I'm going to say that John C. McGinley tries to portray the FBI as like the straight-laced, we don't drink, we don't eat sugar. At the very beginning, he's like very straight-laced and by the book. But he pairs Johnny Utah with Gary Busey because Gary Busey's a fuck up.
He's
And
a
he
fuck
doesn't-
up, and
And he thinks
doesn't-
Johnny Utah's a fuck up too.
He doesn't necessarily. I don't know if he necessarily think. I mean, he does say it later after they
he calls
bet
him an
on-
asshole in
Well-
like the first 2 minutes he talks to him.
Exactly, and he does. Nobody likes Johnny Utah because he went to Quantico. It's like, but didn't everybody?
Yeah,
Right.
it's weird.
Like,
I don't know what they taught you in Quantico, but I know what they taught me there.
Yeah.
So, hey, nice to meet you.
And Johnny
Hey,
Utah,
great
Johnny
to have
Utah
another team
beat
member.
Johnny Utah beat USC as the quarterback of Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. Apparently, also
Mhm.
that happened.
Yeah, that was a big deal, too. That's why he doesn't get beat the shit out of later in the movie. By the way,
But it
did
does
anyone
come
else...
up. His knee is a constant thing in this, and it's fantastic.
It is a thing. Yeah.
Did anyone notice at the beginning of this, and Jeff, I know you just watched it. Could you not totally correlate this to the beginning of Top Gun or Top Secret?
Oh my god!
Because they have a surfing scene and Johnny Utah is shooting guns at the same
yeah,
time.
it's like if
I'm like,
only
this
if
should be
only
playing
he
skeet
was
surfing.
Skeet
if only
surfing,
he was
yes.
shooting from on top of a surfboard. Yes.
Yeah.
No, that God. Yes.
100% Johnny. Good job.
Good job.
Good job.
So Johnny Utah is an FBA agent. His first day in LA, he takes the skin off of chicken. He's young, dumb, and full of cum.
Yep.
And he gets paired up with, I don't understand the name of Gary Busey's character. Is Angelo Pappas? Is he like some Greek dude? Like who? He's totally not an Angelo Pappas. Whatever.
No, but I'll tell
He's
you
more
what.
like a Nick Nolte. Sorry, go ahead.
Gary Busey as Nick Nolte in Point Break.
He is absolutely Nick Nolte.
Except he's not quite as jaded as Nick Nolte, but he's getting there. Nick Nolte's always like immediately jaded.
Oh yeah. It's, God, every time. I don't know if you get. Okay, here's a little bit of a tangent, but you brought up Nick Nolte.
Oh boy.
God damn it, I'm going there. I don't know if you guys have watched enough of Riff Tracks to ever notice that every time, like almost every movie they do, somebody brings up Nick Nolte, and Mike Nelson does his impersonation of Nick Nolte for like 5 minutes, and it's fucking brilliant. And they do
But
it.
now I want to see it and hear it.
Yes, it's great. It's fantastic.
I should also mention that we all made cocktails for this episode, so we are in it.
well,
for this
it's,
one, man.
yeah. I mean, come on, guys. It's Point Break.
We are at Point Break, and now we're just going to ride the wave, man.
Exactly.
Ride the wave, man. I want to get spiritual.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the big thing. At the beginning, we see a bank robbery. After we're introduced to Johnny Utah, we're introduced to the fact that there's going to be surfing all over this movie. We then see a bank robbery from the ex-presidents.
Yes.
4 guys who wear a Nixon, a Reagan, Jimmy
Ford.
Carter, and an LBJ mask.
I thought it was Gerald Ford.
No, Gerald Ford is the one that's missing of the. Yeah, I don't know why.
That's the
Yeah.
indelible thing to me from this movie is I will always remember the ex-presidents.
Yes.
That is something you cannot forget.
For
yes, and I definitely will always remember the foot chase that happens at the
Yep.
end of Act
Oh
2.
my God.
Yes.
Anyway, so what we find out, they go through and they are very precision. They get money. They know what's the die packs. They never hurt anyone, but they're very clean. They're very forceful, and they're very quick. And
they never robbed the vault. Never
Okay.
robbed the vault.
Well, I was getting there. So what we find out from when Gary Busey and Keanu Reeves, who are in bank robbery, the bank robbery division of the FBI, and this is probably why they have to be FBI, is because I'm pretty sure bank robberies get taken over by FBI. But I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, and some later stuff.
Because they're federally insured. So, yeah,
Exactly.
they're
So
in
you
the
need
jurisdiction of the FBI.
Right.
And international chasing has got to be FBI too. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sure. I'm sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
That not so much, but whatever.
Whatever. We don't worry about it. It was a nice ending.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we find out that yes, the ex-presidents have hit 27 banks in 3 years. They're only in for 90 seconds. They never go to the vault. It's basically smash and grab, but it's done surgically, as I think Keanu Reeves says. So what basically nobody ever, they're so clean, they're so precise, and they're so quick, nobody can really figure out exactly who is the suspects of this. And of course they're wearing those masks. For all they know, that the actual ex-presidents are robbing banks.
Yeah.
I would like to see that Robert Smigel cartoon.
Oh man, that would be funny.
So, but almost instantly, Gary Busey's nailed it. He says the ex-presidents are surfers.
Well, it's his crazy theory that no one believes.
Right, and why does he think it's surfers?
Well, they analyzed some whoever.
I'll go. For one, they only rob during 3 months of the year. And then they're gone. 2, they have tan lines on their ass
because one guy moves the camera and says thank you, and he's like, look at this right here. Look, it's a tan line. It's like,
oh my god!
Later
on, when that comes back into play, absolutely had me laughing my ass off.
But yeah, so he's got a pretty good handle. I mean, obviously he knows what's up. He just doesn't know who these guys are.
There's one chemical though that shows up in the soil. Correct. From the scuff on the counter of the bank teller window, and that was Canuba wax. And what is Canuba wax? Well, Canuba wax is used for a lot of things. I get my car washed with it on a regular basis over at the car wash. But there is one thing that this specific compound of Canuba wax matches, and that is Sex Wax, the company of wax that you put on your surfboard,
your stick. Put this on your stick. I think that used to be their motto or whatever.
I think it was, and it's for traction. And you can use it to grip with your bare feet when you're wet. So it is. So with that, Keanu Reeves.
We got to talk about how Keanu Reeves gets this out of Gary Busey first, because it's a scene on the bluff looking over L.A. and it's just, oh my god, it's taking itself so serious and it's great. And they get into it because Keanu Reeves wants to get into some shit. He wants to find the ex-presidents. He wants to solve this motherfucking case.
He spent hours looking at the burner car. Saying, "Hey, there's no air conditioner here, so there may be a sweat deposit in the seat." All of that stuff.
And they are cheesing in this scene. Oh my God, Keanu Reeves is just—he's giving a master class in terrible acting in this, and I love it. And he's challenging Gary Busey to tell him what his crazy ideas, man. Want to solve this case or not? And he finally tells them, that they're surfers. That's his big thing that he's got to tell them.
Because he stops him, and there's a beat, and he's like, the ex-presidents are surfers.
I also like the line Gary Busey gives them beforehand when they're looking over LA, and he says, the air got dirty and the sex got clean.
Guys,
that should have been on the poster for this movie.
Fucking A, man.
This movie, and by the way,
it's gret. It's great. My hands are in the air. I surrender to this movie.
I used to have a poster from the video store of this movie. It was fantastic. Anyway, I will say one thing about this. And I'm going to say it, and we don't.
You're going to say more than one thing.
Well, I'm going to say one thing right now, and we're not going to debate it for right now. We can talk about it later if we want. I actually think Keanu Reeves is really good in this movie.
he actually gets better, but there are moments where it's just like, ooh, he's
We're not allowed-
trying to bring the intensity.
I
and
don't
it's
think
just
he's
really
I don't think he's a
funny.
bad actor. I think it's his voice and the tone of his voice.
He sounds like a surfer before he's ever surfed in his
Right.
life, and he comes from Ohio.
That
I mean,
is
some
true.
of his characteristics of his person betray his character.
He's all
Sure.
over the
I don't
place
know
in
that
this
that
movie.
makes him a bad actor, but
He's all over the place in this movie.
but yeah, he has this yelling match. The way he like makes him angry.
It's so funny.
He makes him angry to get him to tell, which we've already covered. But the next idea they have is for Keanu Reeves to become a surfer.
Well, can we
Why
talk
not?
about
He's young.
the self-referential endless summer comment that Gary Busey makes?
Yeah,
Go
He like
for it.
gets up on his desk, like he's surfing it. He's like, "Yeah,
Oh god, that's
then-
fantastic.
they're surfing it the whole endless summer, man." And it's like, "Oh yeah, Gary Busey, that's great. You're in the endless summer. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Gotcha."
Endless Summer's a rad surfer movie.
It's probably the best surfer movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
So then we get into some. Oh well, go ahead. He
No.
goes.
Yeah, go for it.
He goes to surf.
We're all just so
Sorry.
excited to talk about
I
that.
think our
I'm so excited.
cocktails are too strong.
I was drinking the last episode we recorded, so and that was
I just got all that adrenaline from hitting the
from
waves.
hitting the
this
Well,
morning.
I got to tell a personal story.
Uh-oh.
because
let's bring it down, now, guys.
What Keanu Reeves does next is what Chuck Moore did the first time he went skiing. Instead of going to the bunny hill and learning like basic moves, he went to the fucking Black Diamond Hill and he fucking went 3,000 miles per hour down a hill, not knowing how to stop, not knowing how to turn, and almost dying. This is essentially what he does. He goes out and he's like, I know how to surf now. And he doesn't at all. And he almost dies. There's more to that story. I once bent a ski pole on my own crotch. I stuck it in a mogul and it hit me in the dick and it bent like all the way. I was really good at skiing.
Was the whole time were you trying to forget stupid sexy Flanders?
Yes, I was. Actually, he didn't exist yet, but
Oh, okay.
Oh, man.
maybe he did, given the years. I'd have to think about that. But anyway, so he goes surfing. He gets saved by Lori Petty, whose character's name is. God, I was
Tyler.
really good
Tyler.
last week
Tyler.
in getting characters' names right. Tyler saves him, and she seems like she's really nice, and then she just fucking berates him like you. Like,
Pretty Eyes Tomboy is what we should refer to her as.
Yeah.
yeah.
She is an angry little surfette.
This is typical. This is kind of. It does exemplify
It's
surfer
surf
culture.
culture, bro. Yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
pretty well.
I was
Because,
going to ask about that. You guys lived out in
It's
San-
territorial. It's
Is it
territorial
really?
as fuck. Yeah.
Yes.
And do like
Locals
Okay.
only, bro.
see now here's okay. I've got a personal story now. For a little while, some guys I worked with at a video store. Which Jason, you worked at that video store too, but it was earlier than before you came. We would go to we would get signed up for like bowling leagues, right? And if you don't have a very good game in a bowling league, they will fucking lay into you that you're sandbagging to for your handicap to win out in the game. And they will
Overline, Smokey.
they will fucking lay into you for that. And it's like, wow, I just thought bowlers were like a bunch of fucking sexually frustrated fat guys who went there to drink every night.
Mark is zero,
Yeah,
dude.
surfers are a lot
Market
like
zero,
bowlers. I mean, there is some zen to surfing, which we'll talk about later. But they are territorial. There is like, for lack of a better term, a code of honor. You don't drop in on somebody's wave. There's lots of things you just don't do. And there are locals only beaches and stuff. I mean, this is pretty accurate to how surfing is. I could get.
They're not all like bands of criminals. That's probably not so accurate, but
right. I mean,
because there's two different criminal gangs.
One is fucking violent.
Yes. Yes, but there are all sorts of other surfers out there we just don't interact with in this movie.
Yes.
But while he's... Okay, so he gets saved. She berates him. He goes back and talks to Gary Busey. He's like, I didn't come here to fucking surf. Basically, he's like, well, it's the only way. I'm too old. So he ends up... what does he do? This scene's weird. Sorry.
Sure, shit, don't fucking surf.
So
He spies on her.
Yeah, no. What he does is he gets her license plate. He goes back to the FBI office, and the only other woman in this movie that isn't a violent, insane criminal woman that is going to toplessly fucking bash your head into a mirror.
That's one of my favorite scenes too.
Yeah.
She's typing up the thing. It's like, okay, here's what we got, and they pull up her rap sheet. They pull up Tyler's rap sheet. And it's like, oh, okay, well, so there was a lot of like petty shit, like nothing.
Oh yeah, Lori petty shit, right?
Yeah. So they pull up all this Lori Petty shit, and one of which was indecent exposure, to which the woman, who is not the insane one, typing this up, looks at Johnny Utah and it's like, hot.
Yeah.
That's really hot. And it's like, and she's like, you gonna go fuck that bitch? You gonna go fuck her? Yeah, basically she's egging him, and he's like, I'm looking for something that I can use to get into her world. And it's like,
right.
Whoa, dude. This is getting a little intrusive. It's like, oh, there it is. Her parents died in a plane accident. I can use that. And
yeah,
so
he's doing his best Elijah Wood impersonation,
yeah.
He's getting all the dirt on Kate Winslet.
Exactly. So he goes to the little burger shack that Lori Petty works at, and she's like, "Oh, you, right? It's like, it's like he orders something, a burger."
She's like, to go? Like,
to go, yeah, like,
here.
get the fuck out of here, loser. And he's like, I'm sorry, it's been so, hard. My parents died in a car accident. And you see, like, the little light bulb behind those bright blue eyes of hers, like, go ding. And she's like, I want to fuck your bones.
Keanu knew what he was doing there. I'm not going to Swayze Jason's opinion with
no, not on that
one. Here I am I'm trying to use like Utah in a sentence, and it's nothing's coming to mind.
Good luck trying to use Gary Busey. You better get Busey on that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Busey, yeah. I don't think there's anything I could come up with.
Gary. Yeah, he basically tells her the sob story. Gets into, he's already in her pants, like at that moment, like Jeff said.
Oh, he is licking the inside of her wetsuit at this point.
Yeah, but the next scene is basically the point break of the film, right? It's where the water. But this is legit real.
Okay.
A point break is when water hits rock and it creates a long extending wave.
Right.
So the wave they're about to go on is Bodhi and Keanu meeting each other. This is what sets everything in motion, right?
My note for this is funny. I wrote down, good story, Johnny. He's drawn to the ocean. Teach me, sexy tomboy Lori Petty. Surfer training montage.
Yes, and it's at this point in the movie, which I was going to, you forced me to have to hold off on this, so here we go. Lori Petty has, like, bonkers musculature in this movie. Like, there is not any room for any kind of extra shit in there. There's bones and muscle. That's all she is, I think.
Yeah.
I wonder about that. I know that they all had to learn to surf for this movie.
Insanely muscular. Like,
they did, like, 3 months before the movie filmed, they all learned to surf.
Jesus Christ.
So I think that she got really good surf shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Keanu is ripping through his tight shirts.
Oh my God! Yeah. Everybody
Swayze's
is
always in shape.
Yeah, it's like, boy, don't watch this movie if you're aging and a little overweight and generally have chest hair, because this is not
you
going to
aspire
make you
to be
feel
Gary
good.
Busey, you'll be all right.
Well,
that's who we are.
That is where I'm going. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't even pull off John C. McGinley.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the three, yes,
Two.
yes,
Two.
2 meatball sandwiches or 4 mushroom
Jeff.
Swiss.
Hey, 2.
You're getting ahead of us. Jeez.
I know.
So he's learning to surf. You have the surf montage with the worst song I've ever heard in my life, called "I Will Not Fall" by Wire Train. I mean, that is almost as bad as 311 Amber. Almost as bad. It's really terrible.
Oh,
there are moments in this movie where there are really good songs, and
the overall the soundtrack
songs.
it's balanced. It's a zen.
It's a weird soundtrack.
Yeah, because
it's
you
a
got
yin and yang
Rad,
kind of soundtrack.
You've got Rat, you got L.A. Guns, which that's weird, man. But you
really
also
weird.
have
Public Image Limited in here.
But you also have Concrete Blonde, Jimi Hendrix.
Mm-hmm.
It's like those are the better songs. I don't.
Sheryl Crow, Ice-T.
They could have had a much better surf contract or surf
I agree. I don't think the
soundtrack
soundtrack was legit enough. Yep.
No, it's not. It's But so he sees Bodhi surfing. Bodhi's taking a tube, and he's obviously awesome. His name is Bodhi because everyone calls him Bodhisattva. And
what is that, and who calls him that? Those are my. Okay. I made notes.
So all his friends call him that. Apparently, they're really smart. But a Bodhisattva is a person who is able to reach nirvana, but delays going there so they can help people that are suffering.
So that's kind of like
basically
when you're edging, basically.
Sure.
I just killed Jason.
That's perfect. Oh,
you just put the thumb over and just hold on for a second.
Oh man! Teach everyone your ways.
Call me Bodhisattva.
Holy shit, that's funny.
You're young, dumb, and full of cum because because you won't let yourself. Always on the precipice.
So
yeah. Thanks.
Always on the point of breaking.
Yeah. That's what this movie is about.
This is quickly turning into Tactical Force here, guys.
This has quickly turned into the best episode we've ever done.
This wave is going to break eventually. So then they have a really annoying scene where they have a football game under headlights, and I couldn't see shit the whole time.
I actually had another question about this. Chuck, you've had your knees replaced.
Yes.
So would running on the sand on the beach be harder for you than it would be on just regular concrete or grass? Wouldn't that be fucking terrible?
Running on sand is hard in general, but impact-wise, as long as it's not dense, wet, packed sand, it shouldn't be that bad. It just slows you down. So there's no impact. It'd be a good way to train if you did have
fair enough
impact issues. So yeah, they have this awesome football game where Johnny Utah, who played for OSU, is the quarterback from one team, and I don't know who the quarterback for their team. It doesn't matter. But eventually,
doesn't fucking matter.
I thought of my first day at eTapestry when Jeff was all-time quarterback for our company.
Man, that would be awesome.
We did a company picnic. It was my first day, and it was a game of flag football, and we had way too many people playing, and Jeff was the full-time quarterback, and he was out there slinging it like Johnny Utah.
Although somebody did end up, I ended up going out for the Hail Mary at the end.
And then you kept running, right? You kept running, and the whole time Jason was knocking everyone over.
Yeah,
running to get to you.
Me on the beach.
Tackled you into the ocean.
Yeah.
Which the rest of the ETAP people who didn't know Jason because he just started there, and you were already their hero.
Yeah.
Jeff Arbuckle came to run at him, and then you were like, "Do you know who this is?" this is Jason Oliver. He beat USC in the
and I was like,
what?
oh shit. And
everyone was like, oh my God, man. Yeah.
It's exactly how it went down. Holy shit.
Yeah, it did exactly go down like that. And it was terribly homoerotic.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It was almost as homoerotic as playing beach volleyball with Tom Cruise and
yeah.
And Goose.
I can cut the tension in these zooms with a knife.
Oh, yeah.
The sexual tension.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. So they have the football game. I don't know what happens next. I think the next thing is they find some hair.
No, so
this is weird. I didn't quite understand this either. Jeff, you got the 411 on this?
What's up? So they have a.
He goes and steals some surfer's hair.
Yeah. So basically, what they're trying to figure out is if they can figure out, based on this hair that they had, where people are surfing, they can at least
like which
zero
beach?
in which waves they were hitting and which beach they
got it. Got it.
So
that's stupid.
How do you do this? You go to every single fucking person on the beach and steal a hair.
And steal their hair.
And they're two of the weirdest scenes. Like Gary Busey sneaks up on these stoners under a blanket.
Yeah.
And they know he's a narc, like immediately. But he takes their hair and they're like, "He didn't turn us in though, man." Like whatever. And then Keanu
is doing some Ted Theodore Logan here.
Yeah, he's like, "There's a bug in your ear. I gotta fucking get it out." And then he just steals the guy's hair, pretends he crushes the bug up. The guy's like, "What is it?" And he's like, "I just saved your life, man."
And so they run it through the lab because you only need those two guys' hairs. They run it through the lab and they find out where they are serving. So Keanu's like, "All right, then I'll go there and serve."
All right.
And they run afoul of Anthony Kiedis and the most violent surfer dudes you will ever meet. Ever.
Because he broke a code.
Nazis.
He broke a code. He dropped in on somebody's wave. That's the reason this whole thing started.
Yep.
Which I think would happen.
Jason, you are right. They are fucking surf Nazis. And I was like, are these the titular surf Nazis from the ones that must die?
The ones we've always heard about that must die.
Yes. Yes, they do have a Nazi flag in their little house there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I saw that and it's like, ew. It's like these guys are.
I think Swayze even calls them Nazi assholes.
Mm.
Yes. So anyway, it's Anthony Kiedis and three other dudes, and they're like, "Oh, we're not gonna." He's like, Keanu gets all like uppity and like, "So this is the part where you teach me a lesson about coming to your beach and whatever." And they're like, "No, we're just gonna fuck you up. We're gonna kill you."
Right, and Anthony Kiedis says it like he's making a video about giving stuff away. He's like,
"Yeah,
we're gonna beat you up now.
leave you under the bridge."
What you got to stay away from my wave. I can't tell if you're a princess or a papa.
Oh, I'm really glad Chuck's here again to keep things on.
Me too. Those are those golden moments.
So they get in a fight, and Gary Busey the whole time is like trying to keep eyes on him from his truck.
But so the shower is behind the like a
bush.
Yeah,
or something.
Busey is just generally bad at his job in this movie.
Johnny Utah's genuinely bad at his job too.
As bad as he is, I think Busey's worse, except for one moment that we haven't gotten to yet. But,
fair enough. Okay.
So while Keanu Reeves is in a fight, he actually does beat up a couple of guys, but then they gang up on him. They overtake him because there's too many. And then Patrick Swayze shows up and he's like, "I am Bodhi, kneel before Zod," and he gets them all to stop.
Well, they start beating the shit out of him. Bodhi and
well, yeah, I know. He gets them to stop, and I think everyone's going to walk away clean. And then Keanu's like, "No, I'm going to punch this guy first." So he's like, "What's your name?" He's like, "Buddy." He's like, "All right, buddy." Punches him, and then they get into the big road. It's like a roadhouse fight. I thought he was going to rip someone's throat out.
Yeah, well, but he was trying to tell everybody you got to be nice. you know.
Yeah, you gotta be nice. I'm not into violence, but I know how to kick ass.
I can rip your fucking throat out.
And then, how bad is Swayze's hair in this movie? By the way,
No, it's bad.
Man.
Bad isn't good because it's awesome.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I do. I like his blonde like beard and everything. I think he's peak. It's peak Swayze.
it's peak Swayze.
It is peak Swayze.
It's the sexiest Swayze in my opinion.
I don't know. I'm still partial to Chip and Dale Swayze with Chris Farley.
Oh, in comparison,
Hard to beat. Hard to beat.
It's hard to beat that. I don't know. Is Black Dog Swayze ever going to come up here? Are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about
Black Dog. Black
That's
Dog.
you're pulling one
Swayze?
out of your ass there.
No, that's
Good
the
Lord.
movie he starred in with Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Oh
Was
my
it Travis
God.
Tritt in that too?
Yes, they were truckers.
Yep.
Oh my God.
That's like direct to video. That's like we had a VH1
Oh, it played in the
screener for that.
theaters for like 2
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember we got the screener copy of that at the video store.
That looks amazing. The poster of it is a truck explosion with Swayze, Meatloaf, and Travis Tritt coming out of it. Or
Oh,
Randy
dude,
Travis.
the
Randy
VHS
Travis, Randy
box.
Travis. You're right.
Yeah.
The VHS box was all like shiny and chromy. Like it was really, really like they went all out with the home video promotion on that sucker.
All
Too
right,
bad
our
that
next
movie was
Swayze.
Too bad that movie was 20 years too late from the trucker craze.
Yeah, no
right.
shit.
Convoy.
We're gonna big old convoy that nobody cares about now.
But we got
stop.
Patrick Swayze, so nobody cares about now.
All right. So, oh my gosh. So at this point, first and foremost, Patrick Swayze is like, "Bruh, come to my party." To which
Yeah.
I would drive up to that party and then decide just to drive on because I would at the party.
You don't like that
meanwhile,
sexy party times?
I would do the beach fire portion of that party.
I'd hang out with Lord
For sure.
Petty. That'd be
Yeah.
about it. Or maybe James LaGrosse. It's like, dude, you gotta tell me about Phantasm 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Or living in Oblivion. Love him in that.
yeah. Well, he wasn't in that one yet. So you
Nope.
can't ask him about the future.
That's true. Can't ask him about it. Tell me the
But
future.
anyway, so he, meanwhile, Gary Busey's chasing after the surf Nazis, and they're getting their, and Keanu is radioing in their
License plate.
and they're finding out that they've got gun charges, they've got violence, battery, assault, all this stuff. It's like, there are guys, let's stake out and hang out. So Busey and Keanu are hanging out, watching the house. The two guys that hate their guts are the next shift, and they're like, look at these assholes. And they kind of have words for one another. And then Keanu Reeves fucks off to this party, right? And this is where we get our moment of massive masculinity, testosterone. Jason, take it away from here.
Wait, what?
We're at the bar. We're at the party now with all the masculinity.
This is when they're talking about like the spirituality,
Yes.
right? And big wave riding is the ultimate rush. It's better than sex, and they get real macho about extreme sports, brah. And the rush.
It was
of
extreme
all.
sports before it was extreme sports.
Yeah.
Exactly, and they're waxing philosophical about the lifestyle.
They're kind of also
wave riding.
sort of waxing each other's boards, if you know what I mean.
A little
Yeah,
bit,
a little bit. There's too much testosterone, so Lori Petty has
and
to
that's
leave.
what Lori Petty says exactly.
And she
leaves.
fucks off, and she's
Yeah.
walking off like, Keanu Reeves, you gonna come? I've got this tight ass dress.
Can I-
You gonna do?
There's an important moment here too, though, where they talk about the 50-year storm.
Yes, and at whatever the beach was.
It's going to be a
Bell's
Bell's
Beach.
Beach.
Bell's Beach, Australia.
Yes.
Yep, Victoria, Australia.
Can I say
Yep.
two things real quick?
You
Yes.
bet.
Say three if you want. Say three if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. In the beginning of the movie, they come up with this idea about who these robbers are, right? They only rob for 3 months. They're not violent, and then they disappear for 9 months, presumably traveling the world, right? So in the movie, when Keanu thinks that the Nazis are the bank robbers, that is just a bad fucking take.
No, it is.
These guys are obviously violence. They're obviously whatever, anti whatever those bank robbers are, but they think they are anyway. Then he goes to this party, and these surfers tell him exactly what he thought the bank robbers were. And he has no idea.
Nope,
none.
Well, he's a little bit he's
infatuated, right?
He's got a little bit too much cum in the balls for
yep.
Lori Petty and this whole lifestyle.
He's young, dumb, and full of cum, man.
Exactly. He needs to bust the nut, and then he'll start seeing. Oh wait, these are the bank robbers. Which, by the way, happens.
Yes,
literally.
That's exactly what happens. Yep. That's all that needed to happen was he needed to bust the nut, and then he could see clearly now the waves are gone.
Yep.
I got nothing for that one.
There is also a little bit of a ticking clock that's not really ever brought up, and this is a missed opportunity for this movie. This is the end of the summer. They make plenty of reference that it's like the time is running out. The end of the summer is coming. We need to snag these bastards or we're going to miss them for another year, basically.
That does come up at one point here in a minute when they go to the last bank. But not the last bank, the second to last bank.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like they don't ever say that earlier to where they feel like they have to make a bust.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. I gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha. So he goes in and is going to make out with Lori Petty. He's decided not. I don't know. I guess it was a decision to choose her over Swayze at that moment. But Swayze,
I wrote down
a tough
a quote.
decision, guys.
I can't.
Yeah.
That is tough. I wrote down a quote. I'm not sure who said it, but I must have wrote it down because it was probably said really dumbly. But it is. I can't describe what I'm feeling. I have goosebumps. Was that Keanu
No,
Reeves?
That's a little later.
That's a little bit later when they go out on the nighttime surf.
Which is coming up in the next basically scene. Right now.
Yeah, it's the next scene. So, because what happens is they make out on the surfboard, not in that room.
Right.
Because Bodie comes in, he's like, "Bruh, let's go." And she's like, "They do this," and they all, and it's like it's time for a little bit of nighttime action. And Keanu is like, I was about to get the nighttime action, you asshole. So they go out for a nighttime surf, and poor Lori Petty is legitimately freezing her ass off.
She looked legit cold.
Yeah.
You cannot act chattering your teeth like she is.
But
She's slapping gums.
Keanu Reeves yells, this almost rivals I'm King of the World from Titanic. When he yells, "I'm fucking surfing!" Yeah!
There's a moment later that tops it.
Yeah.
There's a moment later that tops it. Holy shit.
But yeah, he does that, and then to use Jeff's term, the rest of the crew, Bodie's crew, fucks off, and then Lori Petty and Keanu fuck on the beach.
Boy, so much so he oversleeps for his own raid on Anthony's crew, but he probably had a pretty good night. He's probably in a good mood.
So here's another. Yeah, he is in a good mood. This scene is ridiculous, so we could talk about it. Somebody want to explain this scene? Because I have a question after it, because it's so stupid.
Well, the raid starts, or is about to start, and at this point, the only crime we've ever actually seen one of these surf Nazis commit is pouring beer on cereal, because that happens.
Yes, it's beer on a bowl of Cheerios. By the way,
Cheerios.
It's a Beerios. Did you notice earlier that Keanu and Gary Busey was having a Corona together?
Yes.
Some Fast and Furious.
So when you're trying to fit in and you're going into deep cover, eat a bowl of Cheerios and everyone will buy you as a surf Nazi.
Yeah.
Yes.
But go ahead.
100%. Well, the agents that are there to raid the house are giving Keanu Reeves shit, giving Johnny Utah shit, say you're late for your own raid. Really?
It's like, well, you
Really?
guys aren't got that sweet piece of ass I've got on the beach, you dumb fucks. That's what I would have said.
They've done zero legwork to raid this house, other than the fact that
They're in position.
they're in position.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and Gary Busey
They seem like the guys.
His wire taped onto his chest, and he doesn't. He's like,
Gary's going to do his old lost dog routine.
Oh my God, this is so dumb.
"See,
What was this
little
dog's
dog?"
name? Pumpkin or something?
No,
Something.
no, it was Scooby.
Oh yeah, Scooby.
Yeah.
Dog Scooby.
But he sends
Seen a little dog?
Keanu.
Seen a little dog around here?
He
But he
sends
sells
Keanu.
it.
Yeah,
It's a
he
stupid
does.
thing, but Gary Busey sells it. It's
Oh my
it's like,
God.
this is working. It shouldn't be, but it's working for me.
Gary Busey is an Oscar-nominated actor. It should
It's
be
true.
working for him.
It's true. It's true.
It is true. He was Buddy Holly, goddammit.
Buddy Holly. Yeah.
Okay, so he
He
sends.
still has the glasses from when he played Buddy Holly.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
Sorry,
Anyway.
Chuck.
I'm just gonna stare at you guys.
I can feel it. I can feel it.
I'm just
Go
gonna
ahead.
I feel your dead stare.
I'm gonna let you guys ride that wave that you're on. But he sends Johnny Utah over to the window because he doesn't want to blow his cover. He's like, we don't want to blow your cover. So you go over to the window, use that fucking mirror stick you got, and tell me what's going on. But the neighbor starts mowing his lawn.
This is what
So-
you call tension. No, it's
Yes.
not. This is perfect tension.
Perfect tension.
No, it is.
Yeah.
This is how you build tension, goddammit.
I've never seen anyone mow a lawn in California, to tell you the truth.
Well,
It
that's
doesn't
fair,
happen
but-
very often.
Okay, well, that's
These are FBI agents on a very, very highly sensitive raid. I think their audio equipment is going to be good enough to where they can hear each other.
bruh, it was
even Someone is
1991.
mowing their lawn,
It was
50
1991.
feet away. It's hilariously bad, but it's what it is.
Yeah, so he's trying to tell them, oh my God, these dudes have guns in there. Don't send. I'm bad with the names of the characters in this movie. Holy shit! Don't send Gary Busey in. What did you say?
Papas. Don't send Papas.
Oh yeah,
in.
Angelo
Don't let him
Papas.
float. Don't let him.
Papa-
Do not flash the badge. Don't let them flash the badge. Don't let them flash the badge. They're like fucking got a fucking arsenal in there.
They've got an arsenal. They're arming up. Yep, and they are. They've got like hand cannons and everything.
They've got fucking
unfortunately-
grenade launchers.
They got naked women in the shower.
Well,
Yeah,
yes.
there's multiple naked women in this
Uh-huh.
scene alone, which would seem gratuitous, like if it wasn't a female director, I think. Like, why do all these women have to be naked right now? And all the
Well,
men
this
are
is
wearing
the morning.
clothes.
They're taking showers. You know.
She-
Yeah, I guess.
She kicked ass. She kicked Johnny Utah's ass.
Well, there's
She
three
did.
girls in there. Two,
Yeah.
at least two. Yeah.
At least one of them kicked Johnny Utah's
Well,
ass.
one of them's in those super high waisted, like
thong?
early '90s thongs that were like.
Yeah.
It's like somehow it is covering more than what it is showing, but yet it is still showing a lot too.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah, those things were around her shoulders.
It's like Borat, man.
Yeah, she was like Brett.
The guy with the Burios was her manager or her camera guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So they do the raid. People get shot. Anthony Kiedis is trying to run through a door, but the door opens and he shoots himself in the foot. There's a girl screaming in the shower for like 7 minutes, but then she wildly attacks Johnny Utah, like stabbing him twice. I think she actually stabbed him, right?
No,
Twice in the
she
back?
stabbed one of the rival FBI agents. She
okay.
first smashed Keanu Reeves' head into the mirror, and just like with Chekhov's shard of mirror glass, picked up those mirror glass shards and shivved the.
We didn't have to
rival.
wait long for that payoff. Yeah.
No.
It was awesome.
This movie ain't got the fucking. This is made for the MTV generation. This ain't got the attention span for a third act payoff. It happened immediately.
We did get Chekhov's Bell's Beach, though. We did.
Yeah. So here's my question. Berrios, as I mentioned earlier, was an agent in Deep Cover.
Yes, and by the way, that's Tom Sizemore, by the way.
Yes, it is Sizemore.
Yeah, isn't that hilarious?
And then we have John C. McGinley,
credited also,
who allowed them the raid. Wouldn't he fucking know one of his agents was in that house?
Well, DEA, this is famously during the era in which none of the various federal agencies didn't talk to each other. That's how 9/11 happened. So DEA and FBI are not sharing information.
Oh, so he was DEA. I thought he was an FBI agent.
He was DEA.
He was DEA.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Because
so,
because the thing is, they had loads and loads of crystal meth, and Sizemore was there to try to get to understand who the supplier was.
Yeah, but now they're all about dead.
To get it, and they ruined it, except for one guy who Keanu Reeves gets in a lawnmower fight with.
Keanu isn't dead either. He's just shot in the foot.
Yeah, I've forgotten about him already.
But
I've stricken him from my memory. Go ahead.
What is too much Californication for you there?
Yeah.
So no. Well, I mean, at this point, this would conceivably ruin, because they're not going to be arrested for the drugs. They don't have to tell who their supplier is at this point. They attacked federal agents. That's the charge, and that's going to fuck up Sizemore, and that's. Right.
They might still get a plea out of that, but who knows?
They might.
It's going to be strenuous.
No way, Tom Sizemore. He's going to snort some coke in the bathroom and come flying into the interrogation room, beat the shit out of him, and get a confession.
Damn. Write that movie. Write that movie.
Yeah.
Berrios
2.
I should write that movie. It's been written like 1,000 times already.
Okay. Well, then it should be easy to get
Sizemore every time. Yeah.
All right.
So at this point in time, this has gone teats up as far as this. This is not their guys, and Gary Busey and Keanu Reeves are not exactly favorites in the FBI LA division. And so he goes to the. Is this when he goes to the beach and he realizes that
he's having sex with Lori Petty, and they show up? The guys show up again, and are like, "Come on, we gotta go."
It's the morning, because she's like, because she's also. This is when. He's all fucked up, right? Like he's not.
Not yet.
Not yet.
This is the morning. This is the morning when Patrick Swayze shows up really early,
and she's like, "This is what they do again."
This is what they do, and they go surfing. Yeah.
Yeah,
and then he's sitting there.
And one of the surfers, it might have been James Gross, it might have been one of the other guys. They're walking on the beach and they're watching them surf, and he pulls his pants down, and he moons the other guys while he's surfing, and it's, oh my god, it's so funny. They have like that recollection flashback cut, of him back to when the same guy mooned the people in the bank,
and Gary Busey says something,
and it's amazing. And Gary Busey says something, 10 lines, yeah. And it kills me. And I wrote down, that butt looks familiar. I know that butt. Ghost butt.
Oh, that's what he says. They're ghosts. They're like ghosts. Because Lori Petty says, "You look like you've seen a ghost." Yes. And then they cut to Gary Busey going, "They're ghosts."
And then it cuts back to the four of them surfing, and he's like,
"Ghost butt."
Whoa.
He's like, "I'm sorry, I have a meeting. I gotta go." So then he goes and tells.
I would not go to a meeting with Johnny Utah.
And then someone at some point says he eats lunch at Patrick's Roadhouse, which I thought was funny.
Oh, that is funny.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah. By the way, in 2 weeks, come back for Film Seizure Roadhouse. The Roadhouse edition.
So the next 15 minutes of this movie are pretty goddamn awesome.
Oh, my God. The rest of the movie is fucking awesome.
Sure. Yeah, I'll allow that. Yeah,
we get
Keanu
some meatball sub foo. We get some bank robbery foo. We get dog thrown at Keanu Reeves foo. Dude,
slow down, Joe Bob, Jeff
I
Bob.
love this fucking movie. Two.
So yeah, he tells old boy Angelo Tapas, like, I know who they are. They need to rob one more bank so they can fund their trip.
They got their shit in storage. They're ready to go. They
Keanu tailed him.
Found out immediately. They had already stored their stuff the day before. Like, it's all gone. Yeah. It's time. Yeah. It's happening.
And he found them casing the bank, so he knew which bank it was going to be. And at 10:30 in the morning, Tapas is like, I'm hungry.
It's Papas, and he's like,
it's
Tapas.
Papas fritas. Papas fritas.
Papas quesadita?
No necesito español. Parmo.
Potato in my tortilla.
You guys would suck in the treasure of Sierra Madre.
Papas fritas. We don't need no stinking meatballs.
I'd be off in the corner like plotting your death.
I forgot to mention in the Sierra Madre episode that the only words of Spanish that Humphrey Bogart knew was dos equis.
Yeah. Let's go back and add that in.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Our editor says no.
No, we're going to keep it going. If you want to know more about that episode, go back and listen to it yourself, listeners.
Yeah. And why
it's almost 2 hours
already?
It's great. Say what?
So, what happens? What happens here?
So, okay, here we go. This is my scene. This is I want
the whole
this.
Fucking boat.
I fucking want this. So here we go.
Take it.
Here. I will take it. I will take
two.
This. 2
minutes.
So what happens is it's like, okay, they're kind of acting a little. I mean, honestly, at this point, Keanu and Busey are kind of rogue at this point. Really, they're still following their clues. They're still following their leads. They're still following everything they should. But they are not high up in opinion as far as their superiors are concerned. So what they're going to do is they're going to go off and they're going to go to this bank. They know which bank it's going to be. They're going to basically stake out during bank hours. 10:30 in the morning. Gary Busey's reading the funnies in the paper. What was the first comic he was reading? Shit.
Doesn't matter.
But he loves it. He's digging it. And he's like, hey, it's time for lunch. And Keanu's like, dude, it's 10:30. And he's like, nah, that's fine. They go around the corner and there's a little sandwich stand and they've got the best meatball sandwiches. I want you to go over there and get me two meatball sandwiches.
2 meatball sandwiches and a lemonade.
And so Keanu's like, all right. So he goes out there and he goes up there and he says, I want 2.
Well, before he goes out there, he's about to turn the corner and Gary Busey yells out the window.
Oh, hey, yeah. He's like, hey, Utah, 2.
It might be my favorite Gary Busey moment
ever
in his entire filmography.
Ever, yep. Yes. I always, because shortly after this is when I discovered Subway had meatball subs. I get it.
Did you always get 2?
No, oh God, no. I just get a foot long. I don't know. No.
You can cut that into 2 6-inches, and then you have 2.
No, I have 2. Right.
2.
But I get it, man. I get it, Gary Busey. Those meatball sandwiches are fucking good. But anyway, so he goes around. He's like, yeah, I want 2 meatball sandwiches, 2 lemonades, and I can't remember what sandwich he gets. So he, while he's doing this is pretty good shot composition. While he's getting it, the car pulls up behind him. Now, mind you, Gary Busey is distracted by the funnies. So
terrible cops. They're terrible.
They are bad. They are very bad. We see the ex-presidents get out and they go in, and basically at this point in time, it is almost 90 seconds from the time that he's made the order, that he's gotten his order, and he's on his way back to the car. Because at that point, he does notice that there's a car that's pulled up. And he's like, hey, what's the deal with that Oldsmobile or whatever it was, Buick or whatever it was. And Busey's like, what? Nah, give me my meatball sandwiches. And he's like, because he also says his look like roadkill. But Keanu, meatball subs do not look like roadkill.
He's like, I'm so hungry I could eat roadkill.
He says, I can eat the ass end of a rhinoceros, I think is what he says.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. Gary Busey's fucking murdering this movie. It's fantastic.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah.
He's
but anyway, so he then so then we see the ex-presidents come out, and it's like, oh, go time, basically, at this point. And Johnny Utah is like, FBI, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, trying to stop them. He shoots one of their tires, which gives them a flat. So they're able to basically chase after him appropriately. Gary Busey ends up getting into a little bit of an accident or something, and the ex-president's got to go and switch a car to get a better, faster, all four tires aired up car. So they go to this gas station, and so Patrick Swayze is Ronald Reagan, and seeing Ronald Reagan with a fucking flamethrower is the most really apt thing I've ever seen in my life.
And it's not just a flamethrower, it's a fucking gas pump.
Yes.
That he's just spraying fire out of.
Fire.
So
and it's such a great shot.
Yeah. This is the thing in the movie that sticks with me more than anything, is that image. Yep.
Yes. Yep. So, he's like flamethrowing everything. Johnny Utah's now chasing on foot. Basically,
he douses the car owner in gasoline.
Yes, and tells him to run.
And then lights the gasoline in the pump and tells the guy to run. Yeah.
Which the guy does get away. He doesn't want
to hurt him.
He does not want to hurt him. He's just trying to get rid of him. But anyway, so then
Chuck, you okay?
I'm just laughing at the dual explanations you guys are giving concurrently. It's like you're both in a different.
We're into it, man.
We are into it. This is my moment. This is the whole moment.
The next thing is my favorite thing. Go.
Okay, so then it's now a fucking foot chase between Johnny Utah and Bodie, and this
before the foot chase though. They have the on fire fight where he's on fire.
Yeah,
and he's
Ronald Reagan is on fire.
Yes, Ronald Reagan. Yeah, but the chase starts with him. Basically, he sheds the tux jacket. And he's like, so then they take off. And this is one of the best chase scenes. This is up there with fucking Bullet. It's just two different types of chases, right? Bullet has cars. This has feet. And it's fucking great. They run, hang on a second here. I've got it. Okay. So they run across the street. They go into some alleys. They run through backyards, over fences, through fences, in houses, through fucking patio doors. Johnny.
Oh yeah, I like it when Patrick Swayze he locks the patio door and then Johnny Utah goes through the patio door.
Think about this. Okay, I understand that California has slightly different things than, say, Indiana or Northern Canada or whatever, right? I'm still guessing most patio doors is going to be
it's solid glass. It's solid glass.
Yeah, it's going to be really fucking painful to throw yourself through.
Nope, they're made by doozers.
Wow, Fraggle.
They're easily breakable.
It's Fraggle food.
Tastes like ketchup and mustard. Anyway, yeah, he goes through the glass window and
over a table too.
Yeah,
and then the woman in there vacuuming is like, it starts like. So then
I always love that in movies.
Yeah. So he comes outside onto the patio, and what happens? A fucking pit bull's thrown on him.
Oh man. And he throws the pit bull.
He throws the pit bull aside. And so they keep running. They run down a hill into the LA River. This is when so the reason why Johnny Utah didn't become a pro quarterback was in the fourth quarter of that Rose Bowl, he got his knee blown out. So he basically ruined his professional opportunity because it took him 2 years to recover from that. When he lands into the LA River, he fucks up his knee again. And so now Ronnie Reagan is just running down the way. He's about to jump over a fence. By the way, think about this. Terminator 2 also had that big chase scene in fucking LA.
Sure did.
Did they get a 2-for-1 there on that? Did they get a 2-for?
Could be.
They get
could be they got a 2-for. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
Could be.
Maybe nice catch, Sherlock. Sorry, that's the bourbon talking. Go ahead.
So then, basically, at this point, Johnny Utah's got his gun pointed at Ronnie Reagan. He's got him right, dead to rights.
And he never misses. Never Johnny
misses.
Utah. He might be
Johnny
a bad
Utah.
cop, but he's a good shot.
We saw it at the beginning. He's real good.
100%. Good job.
Good job. And he goes to shoot, and he decides to let him go, and he just shoots into the air. And this always gets me thinking, those bullets come back down eventually.
Sure do.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't kill himself.
It always gets me.
All of them just come straight back down into him. But
it always gets me thinking of the movie Hot Fuzz. Because it's like the joke in Hot Fuzz is how much he loves the one cop loves fucking Point Break, and then they act that scene out.
Oh my god, I totally forgot about that.
It's so great.
Oh, I gotta rewatch that.
It's like the cornerstone of that movie. I love it so much. That and a big bushy beard. Anyway.
So at this point in time, Johnny Utah is a bit conflicted, to say the least. You know, he let his bra go, but he should have, if he was good at his job, he would have shot him dead in the LA River. Bank robbery's done. He wouldn't have had to have watched his girlfriend get kidnapped
right.
Would the FBI just shoot to kill a bank robber that was not violent? I was curious about why.
He would have, at the very least, would have taken out his legs so that he could arrest him. That would have probably been the optimal solution.
Yeah, I was surprised when he opened fire on the car as soon as they got in it. I'm like, wait, but they haven't done anything violent. What if you kill all four of them? Maybe it doesn't matter.
I mean, they did just commit armed robbery, though. So all bets are off.
There is always going to be, whenever you bring a gun into a situation where a gun should not be, like a bank. Which, by the way, the later bank robbery, there is a big fat dumbass on the floor in that one, but we'll get to that.
Oh, yeah, there is. Oh, yeah.
Fucking ACAB, people. Anyway.
I'm fucking surfing. Yeah.
So then Keanu gets his leg bandaged up, and Pappas is like, "You don't miss. What's going on? What'd you do?
Mm-hmm.
What's this all about?" And Keanu doesn't really have doesn't have a spectacular response for him.
He's in too deep.
You're
in too deep.
Yeah, you're in too deep, man. It's like the fucking screw up of the FBI, apparently, as we're told, is telling you that you're screwed up. That's not a good sign.
Yeah.
But he goes back, hangs out with his girlfriend, which, by the way, he knows that they know who he is. And they know where she lives, and they know where he lives. Doesn't all of this seem like, I'm going to sleep at the fucking FBI office tonight? Wouldn't you?
Maybe. I don't know. I think that's part of that kinship or that closeness he feels with Bodhi, that he isn't exactly threatened by him.
Fair enough.
Like,
Bodhi has not shown any.
But they don't know that he knows either. They can only assume it because he never sees their faces.
Fair enough.
He tracked them to the bank, but they don't really know who. They just don't. They have an idea, and they talk about it at that fire pit after, where Swayze gives the big speech about us against them, the system, and our philosophy. Like,
And I know
we're
how to
not
deal
trying
with
to.
him. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not about the money, man.
yeah,
It's us against the system.
yeah. But you
Okay,
still
that
kind
makes
of
sense.
can be kind of on their side a little bit. Like,
Fair enough. You can still try to play it off that. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
He's revealed to them, but he's not seen their card, or they don't think that he knows their cards.
Not for
Right.
certain. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. So at this point, Lori Petty's like trying to it's like, what's wrong? And Jason, I know you like this line that Keanu has.
God. Well, Keanu, she finds out that Keanu is an FBI agent, and she's rightfully pissed because she's fallen for him, and he's been lying to her the whole time. And
Which
she
is
actually,
fair, by the way.
gone at him because she's a fucking psycho.
Well, but he did use some pretty fucking.
He deserved her ire, but not to be shot at.
Not to be shot at.
Fair
Holy
enough.
shit,
Fair
yeah.
enough. Fair enough. But hey, she is an angry little surfette, so don't fuck with those. Apparently.
Yeah.
But she leaves. She like pieces out. She fucks off, as Jeff says. And
you can either say fucks off or beach cheeks. It's up to you guys. Pound sand. You can say pound sand in this movie.
Pound sand.
Yeah.
Anyway, he calls her. He tries to call her to reconcile, and he gets her machine, and he starts to try to.
Wait a minute. Hang on. Can you believe that any of these surfer fucks have a fucking answering machine?
I don't know.
Do you believe that any of them have a fucking telephone?
I don't know. In 1991, answering machines were like $10, so probably.
And they're pretty rich.
Fair enough.
mean,
But
they've
she's
robbed
not.
30
She's
bankers.
not. She works at a burger shack.
The Burger
Yeah.
Shack. But
Yeah.
he like stops leaving the message, hangs up, and just he's on the floor, by the way, like on his knees with the phone in his hand, and it's a very dark shot, and he's framed right in the middle of the frame, and he looks up and he says, "Fuck! Why can't I ever say what I really mean?"
I love this movie, guys.
And
I love it.
that's when I realized that this movie is a masterpiece.
It wasn't the foot chase. It wasn't being having a dog thrown at you. It's not the meatball sandwiches. Two. Oliver, two.
This movie does have a lot to love. My voice just cracked. It's so over the top, dumb, and ridiculous that it's like perfection.
Yep.
All right, so let's get into the kind of meat and potatoes of this end here. Let's kind of speed round through this because
This is where it goes from fun to like nasty.
yeah, it
Like,
gets
this
nasty
movie's
here.
nasty.
It
gets
does.
nasty.
You're right.
Because what we end up finding out is Patrick Swayze shows up early in the morning, and it's like, Johnny Utah, let's go. It's like, we're going to go do a thing. And he's like, what are we going to do? It's like, come on, you need a shirt? Because
I don't think I want to go with you.
Yes, that's what he says. I don't think I want to go with
I want to go with you.
My leg kind of hurts, guy.
Yeah, I don't know if jumping out of an airplane and landing on hard ground would be a good idea, or even in the water.
But I'm going to do it.
We're not gonna land on the ground.
So what ends up happening is another one of those kind of touchstone. This movie is full of like touchstone scenes, right? So the next thing that happens is that they're going to take Johnny Utah up on an airplane, and they're going to skydive, but they're not going to land on ground. They're going to land in water in a lake. And this is another great Keanu Reeves line. Keanu Reeves knows that these guys are bad guys. If he's right, then he knows they know that he's not who he says he is, which is kind of interesting. But then, also you have James LaGrosse's character, who is kind of unstable, is a good word, I think.
A little bit.
A little bit, and like they're always like fucking with them, right? It's like they're switching the parachutes around.
I like that scene. Because obviously you're kind of thinking, why would you fucking get on this plane? This is stupid. Like
Mhm.
Johnny, you're a moron that you're even going
Well,
along with this, right?
yeah.
You're a moron. And but he goes along with it. He's like, who packed my chute? And they're like, I did. You know, what's the problem? You don't trust me? And like, no, I don't fucking trust you. You're bank robbers, and you know I'm an FBI agent. This is ridiculous. And but he goes along with it. He gets on the plane, and they start trading their chutes. So to like kind of mock him, but also make him feel comfortable jumping out of the plane. That's a great scene. I really
Yeah.
like that a lot.
So but then they kind of put a dig on him too again, and then he's like, are we going to jump out of the plane, or are we going to jerk each other off?
Yeah, that was a serious question. I think.
I think he would go either way.
Yeah, I think he was hoping for the circle jerk, which kind of happens in the sky.
It does.
So they jump out, and they kind of have like another like then like Bodhi and Keanu and Johnny Utah, they both say, like, they both do this thing where they're like, like they're bro shaking, they're bro fisting each other, right? And it's like, this is amazing. And it's like, you're gonna pull your ripcord, it's like they're daring each other to fucking die.
They're playing a game of I take the skin off my chicken, or I think it's called something like that. Sorry,
like who's going to be the last one to pull their chute, right?
Yeah.
Game of chicken.
Game of chicken. Yeah. So then they're like,
I don't eat the skin on
He said that earlier in the movie.
Right.
Sorry.
Right. Yeah, it came to me after you said that. After I was like, huh?
Call back.
So anyway, so they're like, all right. So then they pull the ripcord, and he's like, "This is amazing." When he lands in the water, it's like, "What am I doing?" It's like, you're fucking losing your FBI job. That's what you're doing. So then they get out, and Bodhi's like, "Hey, Johnny Utah, come over here. I got something to show you. Press play on this thing. It's my insurance policy." And right,
I like what he says. This is going to sting a bit.
It's going to sting a bit.
Yeah, just a bit.
Just a little bit. And Lori Petty's been kidnapped by one of the more rabid dogs of the gang.
Yeah, that guy is. He shows up in a lot of stuff. Anyway.
Yeah. So he's like, what are you doing? What are you going? It's like, well, you got to come with us. We're going to go bust a bank. And he's like getting everybody. He's getting all the ex-presidents a mask. And he's like, uh-oh, nothing left. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. No mask for you. And I'm thinking, well, you couldn't find a Gerald Ford mask? It's like,
no, man, that's the whole point of it. He wants him to be on camera.
I know, but if I were Keanu, I'd be like, dude, it's like, there's a lot of ex-presidents. You can give me. But
he
anyway.
had no options. He had no options.
Yeah, no, because if Bodhi doesn't meet up with this guy by 6 p.m., they are going to basically fucking flay Lori Petty. Like, he said some really grisly shit was going to happen to her. Like, I think he was like, they're gonna cut her face off or something. Face off.
They're gonna kill her.
They're gonna kill her. Yeah, I mean, but it's gonna be gruesome.
I want to make a mention real quick on Lee Terrigassen. I mean, the guy was in the Weird Science TV show. Do you remember that? I think he played the accent role. He's been a ton of stuff, but this is pretty much the first thing he ever did. And he said he was dining at a restaurant a day after arriving in Los Angeles. A casting director and friend asked if he was an actor, and he said he told me there was a part in this movie, and at the time I couldn't imagine what it could be. The movie turned out to be Point Break. It was the beginning of me never having to do anything else but act.
That's awesome.
What a fucking insane Point Break he had.
That was the point in which he broke.
Yeah,
broke big.
Nailed it.
Anyway, so All right. So at this point, like they go into the bank, and this is a pretty good POV shot at the beginning of this. I think it's really kind of interesting because you can see like you're there with the ex-presidents as they kind of scramble and they kind of do their thing, and then you realize like, oh, we're seeing it from Keanu Reeves' perspective because the guy comes up to him and he's like, "Didn't you hear? You get on the ground or whatever." So everybody's doing this thing, and eventually Bodhi's like, "All right, go to the vault," which confuses the rest of his team. Bodhi is getting a little desperate, basically. And Keanu's like, "You never go to the vault. What's up? What's going on, dude?" and he's like, "Shut up and just do your thing." Meanwhile, there's a cop who looks over to the security guard, some probably snack eating dumb fuck of a security guard most of the time. He's like, "Hey, I'm a cop. Back me up when I'm about to go get us all killed." Like a fucking asshole. And the guy's like, "No, that's not what you fucking do in this situation. I worked at a bank. You do not do that.
Banks are insured. They
Yes,
don't.
you
They
do
just
not-
give you what you ask for."
The one thing that is always said at a bank, whether you have a security guard or you don't, or there's a cop in the place, you just give the people what they want. The cops will find them in no time, because the idea is that as long as they're not the ones emptying the drawer, you're passing them things that will be found, and will be quickly found, no less. But this cop wants to play fucking Johnny Utah hero. Although I think he probably should be called like Jimmy Colorado or Joe Montana. We'll call him Joe Montana. Thanks, Joe Montana.
Thanks a lot, Joe Montana.
And he's like, "I'm a police officer. I'm going to shoot you guys if you don't stop doing this thing." And of course, he gets fucking shot and he shoots people. And the security guard, who did not want to get involved at all, gets fucking murder-lated. He is fucking blown away. And this leads to the death of apparently Bodhi's brother, which we find out at that point that they're brothers, I think.
I didn't take that literally, but maybe they are genuinely brothers. I just thought
bras, man. I think they're
just bras, like bra. But maybe they're brothers.
I don't know. We'll see about that. But anyway,
find out.
That doesn't matter.
Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah, Catherine Bigelow, come on to the show. You're our special guest this week. You guys didn't know I secured that, huh? Anyway, so
I would only talk about Near Dark.
I would only talk about this movie. Fuck off with Near Dark.
Strange Days.
No. Point Break, man. Anyway, so they end up leaving, and like Johnny Utah is left behind. He gets knocked out. And when he comes to, or when we come back to with Johnny Utah, he is under arrest. Now, he is clearly under duress. Like I mean, they're treating him like he's a fucking, like he fucking killed that cop.
Yeah. It's dumb.
Yeah, that's not gonna, that doesn't fly. But Gary Busey comes in. It's like, "Hey, let me at least take him in. He's my partner. Let me do this.
Don't send him in black and white. Let me take him.
Let me take him." And he punches out John C. McGinley, which is pretty awesome. And he takes him, and he's like, "Hey, I got the key too, by the way." It's like, all right, where are they going to be? It's like, we got to go to the Santa Monica airport. Yeah. And they go to the Santa Monica airport where Bodhi is planning on leaving. He's like, "Hey, come on, man. You don't need Tyler anymore. Let her go. Tell me where she's at. Let me get her and just leave. Whatever. All I want is the safe return of my lady. And he's like, "No." Meanwhile, James LaGrosse is coming out of the airport, and he sees fucking Gary Busey there, and it's like, uh-oh, this is not good. And he kind of wings Gary Busey not anything too serious. Gary Busey falls, turns around, shoots James LaGrosse in the belly, and he falls down. Meanwhile, elsewhere, we got to take out the other guy that's with Patrick Swayze before Patrick Swayze gets on the airplane and plans on taking off. He ends up like killing the other guy. James LaGrosse is not dead. He ends up killing Gary Busey. And on the plane now, as they leave to go wherever they're going to meet to pick up Tyler, is Keanu Reeves, Johnny Utah, Bodie, and James LaGrosse.
And the weird pilot.
Oh, and the pilot's like, I ain't taking you fucking no. And then he gets a gun pulled and it's like, I'll take you wherever you want.
But we got LaGrosse. LaGrosse is dying. He's getting cold. And
Johnny Utah says something really kind of awesome at that point.
He said,
you're dying because your blood is leaving through your body. I hope it's worth it. And he throws him the fucking parachute or whatever. But there's only 2 parachutes on this plane, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. One of those guys was going to be fucked originally. One of the ex-presidents. I
might have still been on the ground outside. There was still some stuff out there, but yeah.
That's right. You are right. There was some stuff left behind. So, so basically, Bodie and James LaGrosse fucks off out of the plane. And it is kind of cool, though. James LaGrosse, like, basically dies before he lands. So he's just kind of like being dragged around by his parachute. That's always kind of awesome to see. But Keanu's like, Johnny Utah's like, you know what? I've seen Moonraker. I've seen that opening sequence in which James Bond jumped out of a plane without a parachute on. I'm going to do it.
It's actually really fucking cool.
It is cool. It's really cool. So he jumps out of the airplane, flies down, gets to Bodie, and he's like, give me pull the ripcord, or I'm going to shoot you, and I will deal with the ripcord. But he doesn't do either. Bodie, again, outsmarts him by saying, or outplays him by basically saying, no, you're going to pull the ripcord, or you're going to lose your gun, or what, you're going to lose your gun because it's blah, 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 blah. And they land, and Bodie is able to essentially get away, but Tyler is saved.
Mm-hmm.
And they stop off at James LaGrosse, his dead body that's just kind of blowing around because of the parachute, and they take the money and they leave.
In Bodie's defense, he does say we need to bury him, and the other guy's like, we don't have time. So Bodie was consistent throughout the film. He was gonna do the right thing, air quotes. But yeah,
fair enough. So fade to black. Who wants to pick up the coda here?
So about a year, I'd guess. It's definitely a year later.
Yeah.
Because the ultimate storm, or the big storm that had been predicted to hit in Australia that every 50 years is happening. And we have Johnny Utah walking down the steps asking the people coming up, like, is anybody out there? And they're all like, no, man, you'd be crazy. That was and he goes down there and he sees a lone man just standing on the beach looking out at the waves, and immediately obvious that it's Bodie.
Oh, Patrick Swayze cuts a fucking profile, man, in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like a diamond on a mirror. So he walks down there, he's like, hey, and they're like, hey.
He's like, Agent Utah, I knew I could count on you.
Yes. And then Utah explains that I almost missed you, or I was a day away from you and X. And basically he'd been tracking him for a year.
Yeah, I found the one guy.
The other guy's body.
Right. Yeah. He ran into a knife fight that he couldn't talk about.
Knife fight, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't think Bodie would have killed him. He probably got killed by someone else.
No, it was he implied that it was a local tough that killed him.
Oh, yeah, okay. But yeah, he's like, I got to take you in. He's like, you're not taking me in. So they fight, and during the fight, Bodie gets cuffed by Utah, and they're standing there on the beach, and then
Bodhi flips out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he is legitimately like heartbroken at this point.
Yeah, because it's the one moment in his life he's been waiting for basically everything in my life has been working towards this, is basically what he says.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get this part necessarily, why Johnny Utah would allow him this moment.
It's for the movie, man. It's for the movie.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I hate those kind of things. I think it would have been more powerful. Like, no, fuck you. And he went and surfed it himself.
See you later, jerk.
Yeah. I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah.
Well, I think he knew that he went out there. I think he knew that Bodhi was going to die if he went out there. So basically, it was
exactly right.
Because Bodhi says, I'm not going to be able to deal with the cage, meaning the prison cell that he's for the rest of his life. But Bodhi realizes it's kind of a mercy killing. Let him go out doing what he's going to do. And yes, it's totally for a movie, but it makes sense because like the moment he walks away and like the Australian's like, you let him go, and he's like, yeah. So it's like,
he's going to get away.
Back. Well, it's like, he's not going to be able to get away. And he's like, oh, we'll get him when he comes back in. He's like, he's not coming back in.
He's not coming back in.
And you see it, sure enough, he fucking wipes out on the first wave because it's like fucking 40 stories high or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not.
You can ride those waves, but you need to be dropped in by a helicopter.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's true. It's true. You do. You have to be dropped in by
it's crazy shit.
By a vehicle. I wonder, I didn't look this up. I wonder who did the surf tricks for this movie. Like, when they weren't.
Patrick Swayze, because he was awesome in this movie.
Yeah, he probably was.
He did a lot of his own stunts. I know he jumped out of the planes
55 times he jumped for this movie.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so Johnny Utah is like, I'm done with law enforcement, basically throws his badge. I assume he goes back to Lori Petty somewhere, and Bodhi is dead.
The end.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Point broken.
Point broken. Point made. Point broken.
Yep.
Georgetown Brewing Company brews a Bodhi Zaffa IPA and a Johnny Utah Pale Ale.
Let's get him.
My favorite little piece of trivia is the film inspired a piece of cult theater, Point Break Live, in which the role of Johnny Utah is played by an audience member chosen by popular acclamation after a brief audition. The new Keanu reads all of his or her lines from cue cards for the duration of the show, quotes to capture the rawness of a Keanu Reeves performance, even from those who generally think themselves incapable of acting.
We should do that.
Is awesome.
Shit.
That is awesome.
That
needs to sweep the nation.
Let's have a film seizure event and do that.
That would be a blast.
That happens in Seattle. God damn, Seattle loves this fucking movie.
Yeah. I think the last scene where it's supposed to be in Bells, Australia was in Washington.
Oh,
it was either Washington or Oregon where they filmed it.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I just want to go to that beach and look out onto the surf,
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
To watch it break.
And it's like, are you going to go out there, sir? It's like, fuck no. I can't even swim. I'm not going out there.
No,
I'm just going to watch this. So yeah, I love this movie. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw this. My hero, Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times, gave this film 3.5 stars out of 4.
Really?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
You want to know one of the people who have played Johnny Utah in Point Break Live?
Johnny Mnemonic?
Lori Petty.
Perfect.
Really?
That's amazing.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Gary Busey has also made a special appearance as himself.
Oh my God. Can you imagine 2021 Gary Busey reading these same lines again?
It'd be amazing.
As himself?
It'd be amazing.
Oh my God.
I want to see
the universe
Petty
would collapse in.
I really need to see that.
We need to find out if it's on YouTube someplace.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah. So anyway, Ebert wrote that Bigelow is an interesting director for this material. She is interested in the ways her characters live dangerously for philosophical reasons. They aren't men of action, but men of thought who choose action as a way of expressing their beliefs.
It's a bit highfalutin, but sure.
Motherfucker, we've been saying this for the past hour and a half about this movie, so shut up. We've been saying the exact same thing. It's just not as literarily.
Literarily.
Wait, so Keanu Reeves is in the Point Break remake?
Is he? Does he like have a cameo? He probably has a cameo.
Yeah.
James LaGrosse did, for sure.
Did he?
Yeah.
I'm sure that movie is terrible, but I know
I'm sure it is too. I won't watch it.
I'll watch it. Why not?
Then you report back, but not next week. We'll do that some other time.
What is next week?
Next week is the start of a little thing that we're calling a guilty pleasures type of month.
Yeah.
It's kind of a loose theme. Now, here's the thing about these guilty pleasures. We specifically pick movies that are not overly disliked, like critically. Like critical acclaim may not be a part of these movies' lives. However, at the same time, these are movies that are not just well-liked by each one of us, but well-liked by a lot of people, but maybe don't get it's a little bit of a reevaluation again of movies that we like and looking at them as an adult now. And we're kicking things off with my selection, which I already know there's one fan on this.
Oh, there's two fans. There's two fans of this.
I love every single thing about this movie, from the movie to the actors to the soundtrack itself. The soundtrack used to be one of my favorite albums,
it's
one
really
of my
good.
favorite CDs I've ever had. So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Yeah.
With Mike Myers and the lovely Nancy Travis.
Mm-hmm.
It's been ages since I've seen that. I love it. But
every time I watch this movie, I am beaming with a smile. I love this movie so much, and I can't wait to talk about that next week. So you can find all of our stuffs at bmovieanima.com. On Wednesdays, we have new episodes of Film Seizure. When you tune in on Mondays, you will find new episodes of Monster Mondays. This upcoming Monday, I am talking about From Beyond.
Nice.
I need to listen to that one for definite.
Yeah. It's a fun monster movie. Nice and gross and all that good stuff. But you can find everything we do, not only on filmseizure.com, but also places where fine podcasts are found, like SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We're even on Audible, which you can even listen to through Amazon if you so choose. We also have a YouTube channel that we post the stuff there. No video, but if you like to have that on there and you follow us, we've picked up an awful lot of subscribers in the recent couple months. So it's been kind of awesome. So you can do that. I also have, before we do that, you can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can email us at filmseizure@gmail.com. I also have my own website, bmovieanima.com. Every Friday morning, you get a text review. This upcoming Friday is Blood Games.
Nice.
That is,
read that one. I was lucky enough to read the
draft
before release, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
movie's awesome. Article's awesome.
I appreciate that. That was one that I was pleased with. So I was glad you liked it too, Chuck. This weekend, Saturday night, B Movie Enema the series season 1 comes to a close with the Eerie Midnight Horror Show. Interesting fact about that movie: it was the very first B Movie Enema article, and I revisit it for the season finale of season 1 of
nice.
So Yeah, the good stuff. Season 2 will be coming in September 11th. Never forget that date. That's when season 2 of B Movie Enema is so guys, final thoughts. I fucking love Point Break. I don't want to be a surfer. I don't want to be around those surfer parties. I will watch the fuck out of this movie though.
Yeah, I like the movie too. I tried surfing once and wasn't really good at it. And the way that the ocean tries to spit you back out constantly makes me think you shouldn't be in there.
I agree. As a guy who doesn't know how to swim, I agree. Get the fuck out.
It's constantly like pushing and pushing you away.
Like, get out of us. Yeah, I like this movie too. It's stupid, but it's a good kind of stupid.
Chuck was absolutely right. I'm so sorry that we're not yet vaccinated at this point to where we can all be together and watch a movie like Point Break. Certainly, I hope when we get to some of the movies in the second half of the year, we are able to do that again. This would have been a blast to watch with you guys.
Yep.
And next week's movie was So I Married an Axe Murderer. If you just wanted to see my fucking beaming, split fucking face, like ear to ear grin watching So I Married an Axe Murderer, I wish you guys could see that too. But it is what it is, right? So
indeed.
But anyway, once the COVID is gone, everybody get together, have a big ass party. Get a projector and show Point Break on the side of your house. That would be a fun ass party.
Fuck yeah.
All right. So until next week, when we marry some axe murderers, I am Jeff Arbuckle.
And I'm fucking surfing. Yeah.
And I'm Jason, West Virginia. And you have been listening to Film Seizure.